Lights flicker. The velvet curtains sway. Somewhere, an empty cinema waits for a film that doesn't exist. Yet, this is Greenlight This, the show where we summon the movies Hollywood's too scared to make. My name is Travis Medor, and I'm with the Poseidon to my Hades, Squiddy.
Hello, Greenlighters. So how does it feel to do the intro, Travis?
Different. A little different.
Well, I thought it'd be kind of fun, and this last weekend for us was Fan X.
Yes, it was. That was a really great time.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so good to get to go to like panels.
Yeah.
I knew you weren't able to go, but I went to the Danny Elfman panel, and so cool. Just such a fun guy. Very like classic rocker.
Oh, nice.
He just felt so cool to hear from, and he just talks about how much he's working, and he's like, yeah, my year used to be kind of broken up in thirds between actual like music career and then composing for movies and other projects that he does, but now he just is so busy that he can't really keep that organized anymore. So that was really cool. And then cosplays, there were so many great cosplays this year that I loved. What were your thoughts?
For those of you who aren't aware, FanX is Salt Lake City's version of Comic-Con here in the state of Utah, just if you're wondering. For us, it happens every September, kind of like on the bottom end of summer. But yeah, no, it was really good. Definitely got to get VIP. Some of those autograph lines can be a bit rough. Absolutely. I'm an autograph guy, as well as like the occasional cosplay. And yeah, just some of those lines, like 3+ hours for like an autograph. So I always end up getting a selfie and then trying to take as much time to talk to them as I can to make it really worth my while.
And they can be hours and hours and hours. Is so insane. Yeah, I even, because merchandising and shopping, that's part of the fun, is they have all the vendors in the vendor floor area.
Huge vendor floor.
This year I finally bought my first mystery box.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty popular thing where they'll have just a big box, usually set to a specific fandom. So it could be Batman, could be Star Wars, could be Neopets or whatever. And I bought my first one, which was Rugrats.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was kind of fun just to open it up and see what was inside. And I got a new wallet, a belt.
Nice.
The Tommy plushie that is on the bookshelf here. So yeah, it was kind of fun to get to mix it up a little bit and do that for shopping.
Nice, yeah. And that was also our first group cosplay this past time.
Yes, it was. And surprisingly, I got recognized more than you. I went as Calendar Man and you went as Condiment Man.
It's Condiment King!
I love that voice so much. Makes me so happy whenever you do that. But yeah, we did post pics of the event on our Instagram. So if you want to check that out, you can see it there. So Greenlighters, let's grab your bowl of Count Chocula cereal. I think it's time to greenlight something new.
All right, hit the lights. Roll camera. Wait. Hold on. Where's the script?
All right, Greenlighters. So this week we're talking about the Gorgon. A short summary of the Gorgons. Most famously, you would know Medusa. So stories say she was born that way. Some say she was turned into this monster due to a curse from the gods. But she's known to have two sisters as well in Greek mythology, Uriel and Sitheno. Even in this version of the ancestral history, where maybe she descended from like Titans, the parentage does differentiate. So there's not really a set like Kronos or some other like deity that is always connected to who they came from. What we do know from the story with Medusa is that she gets beheaded by Perceus, and infamously her face then becomes a fear-inducing but also protecting symbol. So that's why you'll sometimes see a Medusa's face on shields.
Okay.
Or whatever in other versions. I know there's like talismans too that are connected to this. But we all know what a Gorgon is the snake-haired woman fear-inducing. There is different versions where back in the old Clash of the Titans movie, she started as like a snake body.
Yeah, it was like half snake, half person with like the snake hair.
That's kind of where that originated from. That's not how it's referenced in Greek mythology. In old Greek mythology, apparently she had more like bat wings. Like that could be a thing, kind of like the not the Fates, the Furies. The
Furies, yeah.
Kind of similar to them in a way. But in similar ways to the Furies. The Furies and the Fates. There's not specifically like good or evil assigned to the Gorgons. They were more neutral, often a protector or, just generally a protector. Interestingly enough, they were connected to the Oracle, like they were believed to be protecting the Oracle of like Delphi. And another little fun fact is the snake influence may have come from Northern Africa to influence Greek culture.
Oh, really?
Connected to a lot of the other gods in Africa at that time. So I thought that was kind of a little fun thing to know.
That is fun. I did not know that. Yeah, that's actually really cool. I didn't know that the fact about like where the ties in with the snakes coming from Africa. Yeah, I feel like Gorgons is one where they're always kind of depicted as like just this really ugly monster, or actually, I guess it's not entirely true because the Wednesday series has Gorgons as one of the sects of monsters that attend Nevermore Academy.
Yeah, and it is, since you were kind of bringing up looks, Medusa was always the one considered to be beautiful. Her sisters are actually considered to be more ugly. So there is even myth-based connection to that. Not just pop culture. You know, it's not just, we hired Uma Thurman for this movie, so we're going to have her be it because she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was actually some reference that Medusa was supposed to be more pretty. So, yeah, that's kind of a fun little fact of our Greek mythology.
That's actually cool, thinking that the thought process of like how Medusa should look basically goes back to just the original films with like Harryhausen's stop motion animation of Medusa for that, and how just the fact that imagery alone is what kind of ingrained into society as what like this monster should look like.
Yeah, I think even video games now like God of War shows that Medusa is like a snake bodied person. It's interesting that I think we always somehow deleted the whole like bat wings, like more human body shape to her. But yeah, pop culture, it's quite powerful.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason for today's episode was just a simple idea that we had. How do we expand the monster universe?
Yeah, so the monster universe, for those who are unaware, this is kind of relating to the undead, our mummies, Frankenstein, and then other monsters such as werewolves like the Wolfman, vampires with Dracula and his brides, Van Helsing, the Mummy, Creature of the Black Lagoon, the Invisible Man, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head of like mummies or zombies, Frankenstein, like those are kind of big ones. Werewolves and vampires, those three like rotate like every other year of like who is the most important monster. And then the Jekyll, the Hyde, Creature of the Black Lagoon, they either haven't popped up for decades or like they rotate in every like 15 years. They just don't hold as much. But it's surprising because we do have centuries of myths of creatures, but our cinema universe just has felt limited and bland, and we only ever talk about these three monsters.
Yeah, I feel like if there's ever newer movies, it's kind of like some of the top four. Like, I feel like there's a smaller studio that's been coming out with these remakes. So they did The Invisible Man, where it was like a guy in some kind of like actual invisible suit.
Yeah.
And then they had a Wolfman one that came out like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
It was, again, like smaller budget.
I think they're Blumhouse. I want to say that's a Blumhouse studio.
Something like that.
But then with the popularity of the new Epic land, they have the Dark Universe land, which refers to all of these creatures kind of living together. We'll probably talk about it in a future episode, I think, but there's a cool connected story. And I guess when you go to the park, if you talk to the different creatures,
Yeah.
the Bride of Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, they each kind of give you pieces of a story, and
Which is
eventually
so cool.
you get the whole picture of the land, which is really, really cool. And I love that they're doing this in a theme park. But basically, our discussion about the Dark Universe was, how do we just get more monsters to fit in this?
Yeah.
So it's not just three things just rotating so often. Because if I take another werewolf vampire love story triangle, I am going to commit an act of violence. Because I know what's going to happen. With Wednesday, we are bound to have a vampire show up and be another love interest to someone in that picture. And I'm going to bash my head in.
Very violent there.
I have a lot of strong feelings on this. So, Travis, your take on the monster idea was going old school. You wanted to go old
Yes.
monster picture. Why don't you give us that pitch?
Yeah, so my first thought taking this on with the Gorgon, fitting in with the monster universe, I want to go back to the roots of the Universal Monster movie. So we're going to the 1930s and 40s. It's going to be black and white, and it's going to be kind of that level of horror. So this is going to fit in with like the Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, Invisible Man, like Bride of Frankenstein, all of that stuff. So the title, The Gorgon. I know, how original. But that's how most of the titles were. They were really just, boom, right there. This is the title. It's like Dracula, Son of Dracula, Bride of Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, or I'm not sure if that's one. If there isn't, then we could do that one on a future episode as a sequel. But yeah, they're just very like, Wolfman meets Frankenstein. So, the Gorgon. Our log line. A new discovery from ancient Greece goes on exhibit soon after a monster known as a Gorgon gets loose to continue its sinister plot of turning innocent people into stone.
Ooh, okay.
And so getting into the summary, I'll kind of talk about the cast after.
Wait, I gotta ask: is this going to be pure black and white, or is this going to be like
pure black and white?
Oh, I was the least hoping for Technicolor because know I'll fall asleep during a black and white movie. But
I know you tend to struggle with black and white, but a lot of people's
are more
maybe not a lot of people.
We can say it.
But yeah, so purely black and white, no Technicolor. This would be as if it was made in the 30s and 40s.
Cool. Okay, I love it.
So our summary. 2 archaeologists, George Wellington and his fiancée, Lila Demetrio, discover what appears to be a tomb full of carved statues of life-size people dating back to ancient Greece. Their findings soon are brought to light and displayed on a new exhibit with the help of a colleague, Dr. Alexander, an expert in Greek mythology. During further excavation of the tomb, a monster soon escapes and is now turning people into stone. The new exhibit draws in a man named Atticus Evander. Evander not only has interest in the exhibit, but soon also with Miss Demetrio. As innocent people are now being turned into stone around the exhibit and campus, Dr. Alexander suspects the culprit to be a Gorgon, a monster from ancient Greece that is known for turning people into stone. After Miss Demetrio goes missing, along with the now suspicious Mr. Evander, it is now up to Dr. Alexander and Mr. Wellington, or Dr. Wellington, to find the monster, trap them back in the tomb, and rescue George's fiancée before it could be too late.
Ooh, okay. I already love this because in my mind, when you were talking about the statues, I can see those poorly made foam statues.
Yes, that is exactly what I have in mind. It's just these really and it was supposed to be like a tomb full of them, but there'd really only be like maybe 10 that just get recycled with every shot to make it look like a lot, but there's really not because, 30s budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this sounds great.
So, going over the cast, you probably won't be familiar with any of these names, and that is totally fine. But maybe for some of you out there, maybe these names ring a bell. So let's start with George Wellington. I am going with a man named Colin Clive. He is most known for his role in the Frankenstein films as Dr. Frankenstein.
Okay.
So just that look of Dr. Scientist, okay, I don't want to fully typecast, but I think he would do a good job as the young Dr. Archaeologist who's in love. Lila Demetrio, I'm going with Gloria Stewart. So she has definitely a good list of movies behind her, some of them being from The Invisible Man, where she played a scientist in that role. She was in an old version of The Three Musketeers. Here Comes the Navy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that title.
Nope.
And then, surprisingly, you may know this one. She was Old Rose in the Titanic.
I do know that movie.
Yeah.
I know one movie. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so she was old Rose there. That was really fun to find out when going through, finding out this cast.
Okay.
Dr. Alexander, I'm going with Edward Van Sloan. He is most known for his roles again in the Monster Universe as Dr. Van Helsing in the original Dracula movie.
Oh, okay.
And he also worked with Colin Clive in the first Frankenstein movie as well.
Cool, okay.
So they already have that rapport, so I figured, yeah, cool. Now for our Gorgon, who is also, spoiler alert, going to be Atticus Vander. I am picking the one and only Lon Chaney Jr. He definitely has a huge role. He plays so many different characters throughout the Monster Universe, the big one being the Wolfman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also really like that in the 20s, 30s, they would probably take a monster that was meant to be a woman and turn it into a dude. Because, let's be real, they don't want women to think that they could do something back then. So
almost all of the monsters were men.
Yeah, and it feels very right. Like, even if you're comparing it to, like, I don't know, more into like 60s Batman, when you're getting more goofy and slapstick, it just still feels right that, like, this character would end up being a dude. Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, and so who would we have direct this? This was pretty tough. I did have to look a lot of these movies. They did not have really a single director for more than a few projects.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit tough, but I went with James Whale. He directed Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, and The Invisible Man.
Okay.
Which are all three films from that time era that are pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
So let's hear your pitch.
Okay, so my pitch was, I knew that you were going to go old school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we live in an era of remakes, so I'm going to do the remake.
Okay.
I'm planning ahead on how you would do a remake. But my inspiration was, I wanted some humor, a little absurdity to it, but I still wanted it to be scary. And my favorite type of scary movies are slasher films. I love a good slasher film because they're just so absurd and over the top. So I decided to go more in that era, more Scream. That was kind of the main inspiration. So I wanted to go with Gorgon's Revenge. Just, paying homage to the original. I'm already paying homage to
I like
the
it.
unmade movie. Teenagers go missing, but statues are left by their stalker. Ooh. That is my tagline for this. In the small town of Syracuse, teens hang out at makeout points.
Ooh.
All I can think of is SpongeBob when I hear that. Jason and the cheerleading captain Stacy make out as sounds creep around them. Jason goes out to check. Stacy waits in the car, but he doesn't come back. She goes to see and finds a statue in his place. And she screams out as the opening title sequence comes in. Officer Percy investigates a series of missing teens. We first see him on the scene of Stacy and Jason's statues. Then we start following our main group of teens. Stacy's younger sister Penelope and best friend Iris explore the mystery. Penelope's boyfriend Orion tags along. They follow the chain of exes and other women Jason left in his wake. 2 more footballers are found as statues, and Iris expresses her dislike for how Orion treats Penelope. As the story leads toward a cheerleader as the main suspect, Officer Percy finds evidence the footballers had taken advantage of a girl who took her own life. It turns out to be Iris's older sister. Iris reveals her power as she turns Orion to a statue and expresses her love and obsession for Penelope. Chaos breaks out. Can Penelope escape this snake? Is there a cure for the teens that have turned into statues? So I definitely went very Scream themed, where the cop is one of the main people.
I also got vibes of oh gosh, Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of Jeepers Creepers
Okay.
vibes,
Yeah,
which is good.
I can see that. So for Penelope, kind of our lead heroine, I thought of Stormy Reed. You would know her from like A Wrinkle in Time,
Okay.
or she was the daughter of what was it, Bloodsport in Suicide Squad, like the newer
yes.
one. Yeah, she's a fantastic younger actress. I wanted to try and get the generation after Jenny Ortega, so it didn't feel like we're just recycling the same teens from a decade ago. And then Orion, I did go with our wonderful buddy Georgie Farmer, who played Ajax in Wednesday. I thought he would be kind of fun as the jock teenager. And then as Iris, our Gorgon, I thought of Sadie Sink. She is one of the kids from Stranger Things. She's one of the Stranger Things gang. I think she came in like season 2, because that's about when I stopped watching. And then Officer Percy, just kind of playing off of the joke here. I thought, let's have like a younger cop. That's kind of what was happening with Scream.
Yeah.
So Logan Lerman, who was Percy in the movies, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I'm like, he's about the age. He can play a cop. It's fine.
He's there now.
But yeah, it was definitely just, I wanted to go for that like teen slasher flick, just classic. Nice. Everybody knows what's going to happen kind of an idea. For the directors, I wanted to work with Matt Bettinelli Olpen and Tyler Gillette. So they are the ones that have returned the Scream franchise. So they've done like the most recent 2 movies. And then besides them, one of the executive producers I thought would be fun to bring on, because she was an executive producer on those movies as well, is Courtney Cox. She's actually started doing it. Yeah. So as somebody that loved doing the Scream franchise and has that experience, I think she'd be great to bring on.
Yeah, I think this definitely has the vibes of like Scream, Jeepers Creepers, just like the teens trying to deal with the supernatural entity almost on their own with the help of like random law enforcement person that also gets sucked into it.
Yeah, and once we get to like, Gorgon Christmas Vacation or whatever, like an absurd spin-offs that we would get in modern times, I think that's when I'd like to explore ideas of like the eye of their first love can become like, the totem to heal people, or there's so many, I think,
Gorgon
insane
6 Cold Stone.
Also, Gorgon 6, I totally thought you were going to say Gorgon City, and I'm like, oh boy, we're going to the future.
I mean, Jason X, am I right?
Didn't the Leprechaun franchise go to like the
Leprechaun
moon?
went to space too. So, every once in a while, one of these has to be in space.
I mean, the 80s and 90s definitely went crazy with it. But yeah, let's go to post.
Yeah, awesome. Let's go to post.
Good. That's a wrap. Let's go to post.
Well, I love the idea for the Gorgon to join the Dark Universe. I want to ask first, which one should be the one that makes it into the Dark Universe theme park? Are we going to go with the young slasher chick, or do we go with the classic oldie?
See, I feel like Epic Park is doing classic oldie, but I would love to see the slasher version, because depending on when this movie would be made, I'm sure the character design would be pretty cool.
Okay, I can agree with that. What is the ride, though, in Dark Universe that a Gorgon gets?
Ooh, part of me almost wants to think either a roller coaster or a dark ride.
Okay, see, I could see dark ride just in the like Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
like you can do whatever, like ancient temple kind of a thing. My other thought one is something like the Egg Scrambler, where it's like a spinny ride.
Oh, okay.
And then you have those moments where you freeze, quote unquote, like stop.
I
could definitely see something like that being the ride. But we do have a listener question.
Ooh.
So this week's question is, if you were a TV or film extra, what kind of extra would you be typecasted as?
See, for those that don't know, I have done very, 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 very small acting parts in like a decade ago for like really small production stuff, and I've been typecasted in both of those like adverts as like a nerdy guy. So I'm sure I'm going to be like the fumbling nerd in the background where it's just like, oh no, I dropped my notebook.
Just a classic, like, you have a pocket protector,
Yep.
even though no one's used a pocket protector in 25 years. See, what I want is I would want to be typecasted as a henchman. Like, I want the experience of just getting, like...
I want a hench.
Yeah, I just want to get beat up. I think that'd be so fun. Like,
Tom Holland can beat me up. It's okay.
what was it? Conan O'Brien has a bit on his podcast where he's talked about, like, yeah, just wanting to be, like, beat up, thrown around, just covered in, like, the fake blood. And I'm just like, that sounds fun. That's what I want to be.
Henchman would be fun.
I know the truth is I'm going to get typecasted as comic book guy. So at least we both know we're still going
Worst podcast ever.
We're just going to be this. This is us typecasted.
So, on that note, Squiddy, anything you want to greenlight for our listeners this week?
I mean, I kind of already hinted at it, but I'm all about like going for a classic slasher. So go watch Scream. Like, it's such a good... If you can't handle that, go watch Scary Movie, the original movie. Like, that's just as good.
Ooh, yeah, those are good.
Scream, I think, is such a great movie. It's such a fun look at like late 90s and just where we were at with movies compared to now. What about you, Travis?
So I kind of want to go Halloween movie still because we're in the spooky season. So let me think. I want to greenlight something at least decent. I know, like, just the other night we watched Ernest Scared Stupid, and
that was so bad.
I can clearly tell you didn't enjoy it. For me, that was pretty nostalgic, but I am not going to greenlight that for you guys.
That is a red light for me.
We'll put that in a red light. If you're really daring, go for it. But I don't know. I may flip the script and let's go Percy Jackson films.
Okay.
Just with the theme of the Greek mythology, Medusa's in them.
Yeah.
Or
Or the TV show.
Yeah, or the TV show.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. Well, if you think we should add another monster to the monster universe, if you love this movie or think we could have cast it better, or have a question for us, you can message us on Blusky, Instagram, or TikTok at Greenlight This Pod. We might feature it in a future episode.
Yeah, and follow us on Letterbox where we post movie reviews, and our watch list might hold hints for what's in production. And if you've enjoyed this production, leave us a 5-star review and subscribe so you don't miss the next premiere.
Let's drop next week's trailer and credits roll.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you... No, wait. Wrong version. You know the Piper family. Marnie, Dylan, and Sophie. With Grandma Aggie Cromwell. You know their adventures in Halloween Town, and the franchise ended poorly. But what if Marnie kept her original actress? Could these movies have made the jump to the big screen? What story do we tell? Find out next Tuesday as we greenlight something new. Greenlight This is self-produced, directed by Landon Davis and Travis Medor. Written by Landon Davis, Travis Medor, with special thanks to Homer and Hesiod for your ancient work. Director of photography, absolutely no one. This is a podcast. Sound department, me, Travis Medor. Casting, us, and hopefully one day, Uma Thurman. Music, Buccaneer by Zenial from freemusicarchive.org. Special thanks, you, our listeners, the real studio heads who greenlight every episode just by pressing play. This has been Greenlight This. Until next time.